For your viewing pleasure, this broadcast of the Municipal Council meeting of Alpena is made possible by the funding provided by the City of Alpena. Thank you for your generosity.
Good evening and welcome to the Alpena City Council meeting of December 3rd, 2018. Please call the roll.
Huss?
Here.
Johnson?
Here.
Nielsen?
Here.
Nowak is excused, and Walagora.
Here. Please rise for the pledge. I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Any modifications to the agenda this evening? Approval of the minutes for open and closed session of November 19th, 2018. Any issues or changes? No. Okay, citizens appearing before council on agenda and non-agenda items are allowed 5 minutes each to address council. Please come to the podium, state your name and address for our records. The only exception would be anyone with comments for the Industrial Development District later in our meeting can wait, and anyone with the smoking ban topic can wait until that comes up as well. Any other topics, please come to the podium and present.
Hello, this is Mark Hunter, 614 South 8th Street. You're setting the meeting schedule for the coming year. And I'd like you to please consider 7 o'clock rather than 6 o'clock. My suspicions are that the 6 o'clock was mainly for the convenience of staff, which is nice. I don't know of any group of citizens who petitioned you to meet at 6 rather than 7. It is more convenient, I think, for people to come here, for most citizens to be here at 7 rather than 6. Thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Anyone else? The consent agenda this evening is A, bills to be allowed in the amount of $1,299,700.
You're on the agenda.
Oh,
So
yeah.
you wait till the agenda.
We'll come to your.
Right.
Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. And 99 cents. Brief collection of 2019 property taxes for the Alpena-Montmorency-Alcona Educational Service District. C is the approval of Memorial Day, 4th of July, and the Christmas parades held in the city limits in 2019. And D is the approval of the 2019 Municipal Council meeting schedule.
As of the time of the creation of the agenda, I didn't have a resolution from APS for the summer, or for the 2019 property tax collection, so that'll probably be on the next one.
Okay.
Usually we do them together.
Right, okay. We'll see APS later. Anything else? Any other clarifications? Okay.
I move we approve the consent agenda as printed.
Second.
Hess?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Nielsen?
Yes.
And Walagora.
Aye.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Next up are presentations. This is a recognition of annual employee award recipients for the citywide Pride program. Kathy Himes from our Administrative Office is here. Present and explain.
I will explain.
HR Department, sorry.
Oh, I stuffed the mailbox. The Citywide Pride Program began in 2000 and acts as an opportunity for citizens and staff and the general public to recognize those that work for the city that go above and beyond. And that can be either kindness, it can be dedication, it can just be anything that makes the rest of us feel welcome and appreciated. And each year, the winners are allowed to take 4 hours of personal time, which is a little different than what we've done in the past, but it seems to work out really well, and it does give the city the opportunity to thank the employees for the job well done. So now I will give you the honors of the awards.
And don't go too far. So our first one, Outstanding Achievement Award, presented to Kathy Hines from City of Alpena.
Because of stuff.
Our next one is presented to Tracy Marquardt from the City of Alpena Clerical Department. You have to stay for a photo.
Stay.
Next one is, I believe there was a tie in the fire department, so we have Andy Marceau from the Alpena City Fire Department. And Tyler Sushin from the fire department. Okay, from the City of Alpena Police Department, Jason Culligan.
Yes.
And from the City of Alpena Department of Public Works, Hank LaFleur. We're going to get together for a quick photo, I think. You guys want to come back?
I didn't get one.
Sorry.
You cost too much.
I think this is the first
I'd have to bill you for giving it to me. Quarter out?
You want to go over here?
See, you know, they haven't gotten in there lately.
You guys.
Oh, it don't matter, I'm gonna get it one way or the
And
other.
then
Too many cameras shooting.
Thank you all so much.
Yeah,
All right, and then
Thanks right now.
we're down to item 10 is a public hearing on the Industrial Development District establishment at 316 and 318 Cavanaugh for W.G. Benjey. We'll open the public hearing, and first of all, we'll have a report by Planning and Development Director Adam Paul.
Good evening. As council had previously discussed in the rezone request PZ18Z02, WG Benjey Incorporated is proposing to construct a new industrial building located on lots they own at 316 and 318 Cavanaugh, directly across from their existing industrial facility located within an industrial zoning district. WG Benjey is now requesting an industrial development district is established. If the industrial development district is established, that would allow the company to request for an industrial facility tax exemption, or an IFT. The company would be eligible for this exemption based on a rating system established by the city of Alpena. If approved, this exemption would reduce eligible property taxes by 50%. The proposed industrial building would be constructed, that would be 13,500 square feet in size and consists of $1,067,000 of private investment and created 12 additional new jobs in the proposed district. Staff would request that council conduct a public hearing to establish the industrial development district and adopt the resolution 2018-07.
Thank you, Adam. Any written comments received in the clerk's office?
No.
Or did I miss something?
Public comment.
Oh, I'm sorry. So I had those backwards. So we had no written comments. Is there any open public comment on this topic?
Mark Hunter, 614 South 8th. My only question in reading that was the 50% reduction in taxes. I know a lot of tax abatements have a life, that it's only for so many years. There was nothing in the report if this is 50% off for as long as they're in business or if it's for a number of years.
It's for a number of years. I'm not sure the exact, that will be part of the application, which still has to come back before council at a public hearing as well.
Does that depend on how they're rated?
Yes, we have a rating system for that that determines how many years. We've had that in place for a
I'd open
long
a
time.
business if I got 50% off forever.
Yeah, I'm sure all of us would probably. No, it is for a set number of years.
The current rating system is 9 years.
9.
However, we'd be discussing that in greater depth for the application here.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. And you would expect that process in January?
Probably
did you
January,
say?
I would assume we will have the public hearing on the application.
January, if you want to keep an eye on that, out of interest. Anyone else? Okay, I'll close the public hearing and open up for discussion for city council. Any discussion? Okay.
Nope.
It's pretty standard.
It is pretty standard.
I understand the whole thing, and like Greg said, him and Adam will work with it and be back in, well, we won't hold them to January, I don't suppose, because you don't know how long this type of thing lasts, but they will put that through their calculation process and come back to us on the abatement.
Okay, I move we adopt resolution 2018-07. Second.
Johnson?
Yes.
Nielsen? Yes. Walagora?
Aye.
And Hess.
Yes.
Motion carried.
Okay, thank you. Next up, report of officers, the cost of the November 6, 2018 general election.
Okay. The cost for the November 6th general election totaled $11,093. Last year's general election expenses totaled $8,783. The increased cost this year was due to training for the election workers and office staff, also instituting an absentee voter counting board and ordering more ballots. The city had 8,201 registered voters at the time of the election, which is an increase of 88 voters since the last November election. The voter turnout was 54%, which equals 3,548 voters at the polls and 878 absentee ballots that were processed. For comparison, the November 2017 election turnout was 23%, while the November 2016 presidential election was over 59%. So we were really close. That was a big election. But we survived, and our costs up are a little bit, but a lot of it was training.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any questions or anything? We'll just receive the file.
Thank you. With the motion to receive and file the report.
Second.
Nielsen?
Yes.
Walagora?
Aye.
Hess?
Yes.
And Johnson?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you. Thank you for all the work on that election. Under communications and petitions, we have Gerald Janke, if I'm saying that right, Janke, presentation on the purchase of residence at 826 State Avenue. Welcome, Gerald. What?
It should be with a Y.
Oh, Yankee, I'm sorry.
Yankee.
It's
I
spelled
typed it
incorrect.
wrong in the
That's
agenda,
okay.
I'm sorry.
My name's Gerald Yankee. We have a residence at 827 State Avenue. corner of State and Blair. Very familiar with this area. I've been here for many years. The family's been there since 1939. That's my wife's family, not me. I'm originally from Johannesburg. Came to Alpena to go to community college in 1958, and spent a lot of years here. Now share a home in California as well as one here. But my purpose for coming to the meeting today is to talk about the park and recreation program that you have. I've reviewed the program on your website, and I was looking particularly at how you're planning for the parks in the future. I noticed that the planning is for a period of 2016 to 2020, and I think my proposal might be for something to add on to that as well as to go into the future. But essentially, the proposal that I have is to expand the thinking and the vision for the Blair Street Park. The park is quite small, as you know, and I'm suggesting that the park plan be revised and expanded to make the park larger and more attractive. And essentially, I've already talked to Greg and I've talked with Kathy about this, and they've suggested that I come to the council with this idea. But basically what I would propose is that your plan be modified to be broader in scale and maybe longer in future, but to purchase the properties at 826 State as well as 906 in the future, and make Blair Park about 4 times as large as it is right now, and therefore have about 4 times the parking spaces that would be available. And right now, people park on Blair Street across State Street in order to use that park, and it would be good for our community if there was more parking at the Blair Street Park. As I said, this may be a second phase. Right now, the property at 826 is available on the market, and it's an opportune time to think about this plan. Now, maybe it's not possible right now, but it certainly, I would hope, could be in the revised plan for Blair Park. So there are other possibilities for expanding that park. One of the attractions to Alpena is the dock that goes off the end of Blair Street. A lot of people, we live near there, so we see a lot of people using that facility. It's an attraction. Seems like docks where people can walk out into the water, onto the water, and view the city from there. Is an attractive tourist attraction, and that dock could actually be extended deeper into the water with signage displaying some of the important features of Alpena, some of the tourist attractions of Alpena. The other thing that I would like to bring up is that there is a current problem with the design of that park, and that the sand, northeast or southeast winds and northeast winds bring a lot of sand onto Blair Street and well past State Street into the residences on Blair Street. This causes a problem on our landscaping, but it also causes a problem with blockage of the sewer systems because all that sand ends up in the sewer system. So that's my proposal. I have this in writing. I'd like to leave it to you, with you, and ask you to give that to whoever is working on the parks planning and for the future. So thank you very much for hearing me.
Okay.
If there are any questions of any?
Not right off, Gerald.
Okay.
Of course, we've just seen this on Friday, and now we see you today, and it was a great presentation. Appreciate it.
Thank you
And,
very much.
Certainly look into that.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next up, in unfinished business, this is the smoking ban in city parks topic. We have advertised a public input session tonight. We certainly aren't going to make any decisions amongst council tonight, but we wanted to make sure that prior to making any decisions either way on that, that we gave the public an opportunity to come and provide their input. So if anyone would like to, basically the topic is that we've been presented with the idea of banning anything from up to and including all tobacco use, including vaporizers in city beaches and parks, to all the way down to a level of doing nothing at all. And in between there would be just banning smoking and not all tobacco use, different decisions like that that we need to make. There are a couple other decisions as far as if we were to have a ban of any type, whether that would be in the form of an ordinance or a resolution, which is just enforced a little bit different. So I invite anyone that has any public comment on that topic to come to the podium and state your name and address for our records and provide your input.
Boris Gerber, 164 Gilchrist. I am a member of the Alpena Wildlife Sanctuary Board, and I'd like to read a report from the board. The Wildlife Sanctuary Board of Alpena discussed the possibility of the city of Alpena imposing a smoking ban at city parks at our October 18 meeting. The board is unanimously in support of implementing this smoking ban. Our primary concern is preventing a fire on Island Park. There is currently considerable smoking on the island, as evidenced by the thousands of cigarette butts our board with volunteers are required to pick up annually. A cigarette carelessly thrown could start a fire and cause considerable damage to the vegetation on the island. Our secondary concern is the littering that the cigarette butts create, both an eyesore and the work required by volunteers for cleanup. Sincerely, the Wildlife Sanctuary Board, October 18th, 2018. Our board did not discuss any of the other parts, but personally, I have opinion on that. I grew up on the west side in Grand Haven, and I think that Alpena has the nicest city parks of any city in Alpena. And cigarette butts and other litter, detract from the beauty of our parks. I hate to see the cigarette butts on Starlet Park. Now, I know not all smokers, are litterers. Some of them are just careless, but some of them could care less. My mother-in-law was a registered nurse here for over 40 years in Alpena. She was a smoker, until the health hazards, became evident. And she was careful. She never threw a butt down. But she died 13 years ago of lung cancer. It's just so for health reasons, I think it's always good to, to emphasize the dangers and, Alpena City Park is small, but, it can help, especially to our younger people. Thank you.
Thank you, Boris.
Angie Skiba, 635 River. I just have a couple comments. I am not a smoker, but I feel that you should not be imposing a smoking ban on any parks. You want to promote tourism, and I don't feel that by a few of you making a decision for all who may be entering the city with their families and whomever they decide to bring, that you should make the decision on what people should be doing in public. I'd also like to know who and how you will be policing that and at what cost to all of us citizens. Are you going to be calling Joel every time somebody lights up a cigarette? And I feel that if you rule on this, and just a few of you are making this decision for all of us citywide, what is our next freedom that will be gone? I think it's a personal choice. I don't choose to smoke, but if I am at a park and someone is smoking, I would just move. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Angie. Anyone else on that? I'm just making quick notes here. Anyone else? Okay. We'll close the public input session and certainly take all of your input into account when we discuss this again at a future meeting, where, like I said, we're not going to go into a discussion amongst council tonight. This will show up on another meeting here in the future. I'm not exactly sure when, if that's been discussed.
No, I guess, I can talk with Amber about that.
Okay.
Since she was kind of initiated if we want to do it
can talk
next
about-
meeting or wait till after the first of the year.
Making sure that all of us are here, I think is important.
Yeah, I think all of us here, and
Yeah.
certainly
We'll
don't
figure it
have
out from there.
to. It's winter, so there's less people there in the beaches and parks now.
Yeah.
So I think as long as we make a decision for spring, we'll be fine. Okay, under new business, bag, leaf, and lawn material pickup. Engineer Rich Sullinger.
Back in 2016, the city received an open bids for bag, leaf, and lawn material pickup. At that time, there was 2 bidders. One bidder, A1 Tree Service, significantly lower than the other. That contract did allow for a 3-year renewal, and A1 has requested to exercise that renewal and has quoted prices for 2019, 2020, and 2021. The price for 2019 would remain at the same level as 2018, $10,000. Then it would increase $100 in 2020 and be the same for 2021. The city's been very pleased with the services that we've been provided by them. They're very accommodating, have worked with us on the schedule, et cetera, and have done a good job in doing that bag leaf pickup. It is my recommendation as city engineer that city council renew the bag, leaf, and lawn material pickup contract to A1 Tree Service for the as-bid prices for 2019 through 2021. A1 also requested to add an additional 3-year renewal option onto the contract. That's again if both parties can reach agreement, and it would have to come back before city council if there's interest. But they did request the possibility of one additional 3-year renewal, and I would also recommend that. Funding is established in the Public Works line item for these pickups. We do 2 in the spring, 2 in the fall, so our total cost is just over $4,000.
40.
Okay.
I thought you said 4,000, I'm sorry.
Oh, 40,000.
Thank you, Rich. So to be clear, tonight, you're asking for the 3-year renewal, not the addition of the 3-year renewal to the contract?
Yeah, what we'd like to do is renew it for 19 through 21, but then also allow for an additional 3-year renewal option in the contract. It's not going to guarantee that renewal. They would have to come back. But right now, our contract says that it would only last through 2021. What they've requested is that there be an additional 3-year option that could be exercised in the future.
I certainly appreciate their prices, and compared to the only other bidder 3 years ago are still actually less or very close to being less than what they had bid at the time just 3 years ago. But I don't know if I would be even open to 9 years of not allowing someone else to bid on the process. 6 years, we do that quite regularly if the bids were substantially different, but I don't know if I would be comfortable going 9 years, not knowing who might start up a business or have an opportunity, and they wouldn't, correct me if I'm wrong, but they wouldn't have that opportunity if you came and asked for us to renew. So I'm certainly open to the renewal that they have in their current contract, but I would just as soon not put an additional 3-year in there. That would give them, obviously, an opportunity to bid again, but someone else. I don't know how the rest of council feels. But.
I feel the same way. That was the first thought, is that's a very long time, and businesses sometimes start up, and the competitive landscape can change. So I think, yeah, that they've done a great job, and I think renewing it, but yeah, maybe not having the additional renewal option.
And that is completely acceptable. We would just write a 3-year renewal right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so any other discussion on the 3-year renewal? The current renewing their till 2021. Don't want to get too confusing with the 3-year thing. I would certainly propose that we do that. I don't know what the term is. I don't want to say renewal again, but I guess that's it.
Yeah. Is it saying simple?
Extend the contract by 3 years, is that what we?
Yeah, it's-
Okay, you want me to make a motion?
If you'd like.
Okay, I'm going to make a motion that we renew the contract with A1 Tree Service for the bid price for 2019 to 20, as listed, to 2021, without the 3 years. Make sense?
I'll
Made
second.
sense? Okay.
Walagora?
Aye?
Hess?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
And Nielsen?
Yes.
Motion carried.
Thank you, and thank you, Rich. Well, that was it already.
Yep, I move we adjourn to closed session to discuss sewer and water litigation.
Second.
Hess?
Yes.
Johnson?
Yes.
Nielsen?
Yes.
And Walagora?
Aye.
Motion carried.